was thinking a little bit about something that crossed my mind, interacting with certain conversations that I have with people, and my own personal journey through life, and the subject of enablement or being an enabler. From my experience growing up, I knew in many instances that when there were conflicts in my house that weren't resolved, and actually were never resolved, what I found is that the guilt that, let's say, I called a perpetrator, right? A parent, a guardian, whoever it may be, in terms of not having the understanding or the consciousness to resolve conflicts and put an end to something. And from my perspective, I felt that because the home that I grew up in, people weren't able to resolve things. They, in essence, carried conflict over a span of time in order to have this sense of power, this sense of control, and this sense of being then able to resolve their own personal guilt through enabling. In other words, they didn't want to take the responsibility, they didn't want to take the initiative to take responsibility for the things that they might have said, they might have done. And I'm sure many of you could relate to this. And many times what we do is we then find ourselves becoming codependent in relationships. We find ourselves then, instead of resolving things and feeling the feelings we have and taking ownership for our feelings, we enable other people. We allow them to get away with things because of our own feeling that we will be disliked or we could be abandoned. And so we keep these close connections to people so that the relationships don't fade away or break apart, or we, in actuality, don't become rejected. So the main point here is that we don't want to enable people, right? We want to uplift people in a way where they become independent and they find their own path. If we enable them, in other words, we're living to satisfy our own needs rather than help the person whose needs need to be nurtured and developed. And so if you find yourself in a position of enabling someone or being enabled, realize that you have the power to do things on your own, to become independent of being enabled. And you don't want to enable others because then it becomes an act of selfishness where you're really more worried or concerned about your own needs of generating this attachment rather than unconditional love. All right, I hope you have a great day.